All right, welcome to the Cwic Media Come Follow Me series. We are going to do something a little different this year. We were one of the early starters on Come Follow Me, so we have all 4 years already recorded and on the podcast and on the YouTube channel. So what we're going to do this year is we're going to take a little piece of something, maybe something new, something possibly from what we've already done 4 years ago in the New Testament, and we're just going to spotlight on it for maybe 5-7 minutes, something like that. And then we'll put the links to the episodes that we did 4 years ago on those assigned chapters. Now, with the New Testament, what we did is most of those episodes have actually part 1 and part 2. So we'll include both links in the description box in this video for each of those episodes. But we'll just highlight a little something, and this is what we'll do each week throughout the year on the New Testament. So for this week, we have Matthew 4 and Luke 4 and 5. I'm going to go to Matthew 4 at the very beginning here for this short episode and just cover the first 4 verses of this. I'm going to go through this here. It says, Then was Jesus led up of the Spirit into the wilderness to be tempted of the devil. The first thing to see here is that he's really in a vision, it looks like, right? This is a vision that he has after his baptism. And this is as if Nephi was being carried away in the Spirit, or Paul is carried away in the Spirit. Whether it's in his body or not, he cannot tell, right? It's that kind of thing. But this is a vision, and it ends up at the temple. So he's brought up of the Spirit into the wilderness to be tempted of the devil. This is very similar to what happens with Moses in Moses 1, right? He has a vision on Sinai, and he's going to be tempted of the devil. Very similar to the book of Exodus here. Verse 2, and remember, notice that he's carried away into the wilderness. This is kind of this Exodus theme that happens. Verse 2, and when he had fasted 40 days and 40 nights, he was afterward and hungered. So very similar to the children of Israel going out into the wilderness, again, for 40 days or 40 years, or maybe 42, if we really look at it closely. Verse 3, and when the tempter came to him, he said, if thou be the Son of God, that's the title we talk about a lot. That means the one who condescends. Command that these stones be made bread. And again, we're going to get an Exodus theme here. So command that these stones be made bread. Well, we remember what the bread was that the children of Israel had in the wilderness. It was the manna that was given to them daily, their daily bread. But that was a temporal type of bread for physical sustenance. Jesus here, as he goes through the vision here, and as Matthew and Luke go over the vision here, what they're going to do again is add everything in with a higher law, which is something that is missing in the Aaronic-led priesthood and gospel of the Jews at the time. And so he's going to say, okay, that was your temporal bread, the manna. This is the spiritual bread, what is the word of God. And verse 4 is as follows. But he answered and said, it is written, man shall not live by bread alone, but by every word that proceedeth out of the mouth of God. So here we have the higher and the lower laws. We get this throughout the New Testament. And again, part of the Exodus theme here. So we can go back. This is why we see Nephi referring back to the Exodus and talking with Laman and Lemuel and being led out by the hand of God. This is a physical example that the Lord oftentimes uses in history or in our own lives to teach us the higher law and a similar spiritual parallel or metaphor to these experiences. So the manna that falls from heaven each day for the children of Israel, now the Lord is saying here, Jesus says, it's the word of God that we really need for spiritual sustenance. That's the spiritual manna that we would have. And where do we get that? Well, of course, we get that from the scriptures. And so the message I see here in this vision that he's giving here, that Luke is writing down here, is we need the scriptures every day. That is our spiritual manna. And this is what is, in a way, Jesus is combating the influence of Satan in this vision, the tempter, by talking about studying the scriptures every day. We need to do the same thing. The Come Follow Me program is so great because it gives us an open-ended way of doing this with home study, with these assigned chapters. But I hope we're going beyond just the Come Follow Me videos and podcasts. And we're actually opening up our book of scriptures, or going online onto Gospel Tools and the Gospel Library and reading specifically. There is nothing more powerful for your testimony, I believe, than actually going in and reading the scriptures yourself each and every day. Make sure you check out both part 1 and part 2 of the Come Follow Me series that we did a few years ago. Thanks for listening.